Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Alright, let's see. Let me cut over. Alright, I think I'm live. Hold on, let's adjust this camera a little bit. Alright, welcome again to another episode of church post-production. Sorry if you hear some noise in the background. I'm trying to signal my niece to just, can you turn this TV down just a little bit, please? Just a little bit. Alright, so I actually gonna have, I'm gonna have to do 2 of these today, because I'm gonna have my brother-in-law sit in with me. Want to kind of discuss some of the stuff that's been happening at his church. It kind of coincides with what normally this show is really all about, and it's about media ministry. But again, my name is AJ the CEO, and pretty much what I decided to do is just come at you every Sunday afternoon when I do some church post-production with a lot of the video stuff to prep it for next week, as well as social media stuff, tips and tools that can help a small church grow. Again, you don't have to have multiple millions of dollars to really take advantage of the technologies that are out there from a church standpoint. And that's kind of like what I do. While I talk with y'all, I'm actually editing and setting up the service for putting out on social media and our on-demand services and things like that, and kind of share that stuff with you. And let me adjust my camera here for a second. Trying to stay within the green screen. And no, anyway, I have my headset on that I got earlier in this week, mainly so that the noise of what I'm doing doesn't actually go out, so that y'all don't hear that. But I'm trying to get my headset adjusted at the same time. So excuse me here for half a second. Settings, headset. Oh, because the battery is almost gone. I thought I charged this last night. Hold on 1 second. Alright, so it's charging right now. Hopefully I don't pull loose this cable here. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into what I typically do. My video editor of choice is DaVinci Resolve. So let me go ahead and cut over to what I'm working on right now. And let me bring up my camera here. Alright, so that way you can see me. And we'll have it on both screens. So when I adjust, because I'm running dual screens, so it's going to be jumping back and forth here. Alright, so let's just test it out. Alright, so yeah, I can see both sides. Alright, so mainly what I'm doing is, like, if you follow some of the other stuff I do, we record everything on a HyperDeck Studio Mini. I kept messing that name up last time. On my 2019 media booth tour. You can check that video out. I'll have a, can I add that as a card? I think I can. Let's see. Well, yes I can. So this should be up here sooner or later in one of the, at the top. But pretty much what I do is walk through everything that I've done to try and help add some HD and all this live streaming functionality. And I gave a tour, hopefully, so people to see exactly what we're using pretty much I didn't hold anything back. I showed you everything that we're using, and I listed a list below showing you how to do it yourself. But pretty much what I do is, because I wasn't at church today, I'm actually was consulting another church today, so I wasn't physically at my church. But what I do is we take the entire service after it being recorded, and I chop up the sermon, put that on our social media video content delivery networks, whatever. Have two of choice, YouTube and Vimeo, and we live stream to Facebook. But I put this available after service. And then I render the entire video. We used to make DVDs, but I have another video as well talking about it, where we moved to everything is on demand. So that way, instead of spending all the resources of buying blank DVD, ink, and all this other stuff for printers and label makers, we just make the entire service available online. And it's at half the cost of what we normally would do just to maintain our monthly service for the provider that handles that. So that's mainly what I do. But like I said, I'm actually going to sit in and if you're looking on my other videos, I do a lot of training videos on Worship Extreme. That's a free presentation software that a lot of clients that I work with in churches who are trying to put presentation software, scriptures, and everything like that on the screen. I try and help them with that. So hold on, I think I'm seeing some issues with the audio. Give me 1 second, crank this up. Alright, that's a little bit better. So I recommend Worship Extreme because a lot of times churches don't really have a lot of budget, and the stuff I like to do is actually do some foundational type stuff to where we don't try and break the bank, but we kind of show how you can be really beneficial in helping do new things without, again, having to break the bank. So like, for example, I'm using DaVinci Resolve right now. This is a powerful video editor that's completely free. And I really like working with that. So what I'm doing right now is, and I think I got this right, so you shouldn't hear what's going on from the video editor, because that would be way too much, but you can hear my voice. What I plan on doing, alright, so the first thing I need to do is fade in my audio here. I normally start with intro and outro here, which is, let's cut over here so you can see it. All our services start with this intro outro that I made with DJI drone, as well as, well, the last shot is from my DJI drone Mavic, and then all the other ones were just still footage that I took and used in Vatu, which I've mentioned to them numerous times before. Let me actually I need a new browser here. Let me bring it over here. We got way too much stuff on my screen. Give me a half a second because I need to set up some stuff. And like I said, I was watching Justice League and Young Justice and all my other shows like that. So I was trying to move that stuff all out the way. So anyway, that intro outro was here. And I need to actually do this as a segment every month. Since we just started a new month, and I always recommend setting up a new account in Vatu because they come out with new stuff that you can use. So beginning of January, they came out with a new template here that normally is $33, but it's free. So this is like a template that you can use. I believe he has an After Effects that you can add any type of stuff behind this. For example, from a church standpoint, this would be an ideal thing if you're making a presentation for certain stuff. Say it's a conference that's coming up, you can use this for that. And again, it's free. They also have stock footage that you can use. Some of the stuff you probably don't need right now, but they're like 3D modeling items. Those happen to be clothes, t-shirt mock-ups, which actually I think is kind of cool because I actually bought one of these a while ago, so I could have saved some money. They also have web themes, so this is for a wedding invitation. There's some music here, but you can't hear it. Okay, you can't hear it, but the music was kind of serious. It says it's epic. This is epic because it sounded just like it. We also have sales badges, and then we have like a pocket calendar. So anyway, I recommend it because you can get some free tools. I mean, again, this is a good place that you can buy some stuff too, but they give out some quality stuff, and that's what the intro outro is that I just made came from. So anyway, let's go back over here. So I start with my intro outro. Within 1 second of the end, I fade it out, video and audio, and then this is from the HyperDeck Studio Mini. I take this video in and I fade in 1 second. I chop out all the excess at the beginning of the service that we don't need, and then go straight into here. So it's right at the end of praise and worship, right before the service starts. Now, we've been having some issues with our sound, so as you can see from just a graphical representation, the sound is really low, and that's normally when Pastor Sales starts talking. So I've already increased the volume over the entire video, but as you can see, that makes certain parts too loud. So I normally try not to come in here and do a lot of heavy editing, but just the sound has been so inconsistent. That's why I have to do this. So I'm going to change just this section. Increase that to 10. No, that's too much. So I'll say 10. And I can hear an echo, so it sounds like there was something in our actual sound. Alright, so again, the whole point of doing this is to try and get as much done live so that you don't have to do that much post-production. Post-production mainly is just chopping up the videos and putting them on different social media platforms. So like I said, I'm just going to speed through this and just chop this up and just increase the volume where it's really, really low. So here, audio 10, 15, it's still low. Yeah, this is one of those things I'm gonna have to go back and revisit that. I actually have a media ministry meeting tomorrow, so I'll bring up a lot of this stuff with the team and let them actually hear. And I don't know if most people do this. This is just one of those good things to actually, just like any sports team, they go back and look at the video after the fact to see the highs and lows and where they can improve. And that was kind of like the first purpose of doing this, is in hopes of people watching this so that they can see what needs to be improved over time. So like I said, all I'm doing is improving and just going through, listening to the audio, making changes where it needs to be. And I don't want to go over top because, like I said, this would take, you can get way more detail with this, but like I said, I don't want to spend that much time doing this. Let me bring my stream back up. And also, if you're watching me live, I am in the chat, so I can respond to y'all if y'all have anything you want to say and share. But I'm just continuing to go in here and fix the audio. And like here's a see, and at this point you can't hear, but actually it looks like Pastor Sales doesn't have a wireless mic on at all, so you can't hear nothing being said. So what I'm going to do is, this is where I'm actually going to do an edit. So right here, I'm actually going to cut this section out completely, because like here, it's talking, but you can't hear nothing. So this is one of those things, like, this doesn't need to be there, but this just explains the importance of microphones and everything like that. Alright, so all of that can be cut out. Alright, so all the way to right here. So this entire section of the service is gone. I'll right click on this. I'm going to just change the color. And hit delete, and it's gone. So now I'm going to do a transition over here. I'm going to do a blur. So all I'm going to do is click and drag this onto that little location right there. And let's zoom in. Alright, so what's going to happen is, and I'm going to actually do the same thing on the audio. Stretch it out. So when we play it, it looks like this. Let me cut over so you can see the play. Real smooth, so that, because that's way better than just having that 5 minutes of just silence because there were no mics. You know, if we had, we don't have crowd mics in our sanctuary, so if we had had something like that, that could have solved that. But this is just one of those things that I'm a big proponent of saying that from a media standpoint, you represent the digital footprint of your church. So if you were live streaming this, I mean, that's just dead air. And this is just one of those things that you need to be more careful about when you do this. Yeah, thanks, Glenn. Saying that, yeah, he likes the Vatu marketplace as well. Again, it's a free tool. Yes, it's a repository where you can buy stuff, but at the same time, they do offer great free items every month that can actually help enhance your media ministry, make it look a lot more professional. But like I said, from a standpoint, from the editing part, this is one of the things you got to be really careful of, because this is what people see. If somebody comes against your stream and it's just straight silence, now live is one thing. You know, this is one of those things that from a training standpoint, we have to be mindful of, to maybe put a cut or something that says that the stream will resume soon when no one can really hear. But that's just something that you learn over time that you're doing. But like right now, especially from a part where we can actually do some post-production and fix the video, you want to remove this stuff, just like I'm fixing the audio, because you don't want anybody to all of a sudden have to crank their TV up to 100 just to hear somebody, and then when the music starts, it's going to blow out their eardrums, because you want to balance out the audio. That's kind of like what I'm doing. And like I said, I can get way more detailed with this if I wanted to. I just don't think I need to. Alright, so far everything's looking good. Alright, so I'm just scrubbing through this. I'm trying to find right where the sermon starts. Let me see how close I am to the end. I think this might actually be close to the end, but let me see. Alright, so I think that is close. I'm going to get it right after Pastor Sales stands up. Alright, so right here, I'm going to press the B key to select the razor blade. And I'm going to click right here just to chop that, just like I've done before. And I'm assuming that this is the beginning of the sermon. Yeah, and this is the sermon. Yep. All right. So the good thing is this is the sermon part, and I should have cut over here so you can see what I'm seeing. But what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna right click this so that I know and change this color to orange because I know that this is the sermon part. Now I'm gonna jump to the end and go back. So at the end, let's zoom in a little bit more so we can find exactly where the sermon ends. And the audio is low right here. You'll learn over time, especially the more that you record your ministers or preachers, that they have like a vocal pattern. My pastor starts off soft, ramps up, then goes back down. So if you look, see, he goes in waves. It's almost like a roller coaster. So starts getting soft, works his way up, falls back off right here, then goes back up again, drops off, stays low, then, but I promise you by the end it gets back up. So what I want to do is do some chops in between these low moments. Now I don't want to get too detailed with this because I don't want to lose the articulation in him raising his voice or getting louder for accenting certain points. I just want to get it to where whoever's watching this doesn't need to change the volume on their screen or their phone or their TV or whichever device that they're listening to. So I'm going to change that to, let's change that to 15. Change this one to, oh, see, now that's too much. Let's change that to 10. And then let's change this one to 15. Alright, so see, you can't hear it now, and I'll post a link so you can hear this. It just has a better feel. So like this one actually is in its highest moment. So actually I might want to drop this down to maybe 0.6 above where he already was. Alright, and then this last one I want to probably bump up just a little bit to maybe 8. Alright, so the audio's fine. So like I said, I'm going to come back over here, grab my intro outro again, and drag it over to the end. So let's zoom in and let's find exactly a good point for this to fade out on. So alright, so right there you say God bless you. So what I can do, this would be my point right here. I'm going to press the M key to set a marker, and it actually will snap whenever I move some video there. So see, this now just snaps in place there. So I know that's where I want it to fade. So I'm going to, just like at the beginning, I'm going to fade this in for 1 second. Fade this in for 1 second. Then I want to do a fade out for 1 second. And then I want to drag this to here. So when it goes through, and I actually might even move this just a little bit more. Might want to move this just a little bit more. So I want to hear him finish that line. God bless you, and then it fades out. Right there. So that was good. So I just need to move this for that offset. So now if we come back and play it, God bless you, and then boom, it fades out. So that's the last thing that people are going to see. Now, let's go ahead and stop that, and let's go back here to our editing. Now what we want to do is we want to add a lower third so people know who's actually preaching, and see how the color helps benefit. Now I normally would do this for the entire choir, and it's your choice to do that. I just don't do that anymore. I actually have actually I'm gonna jump over and do some actual lower thirds in compared to what I normally would do. So what I'm gonna do is cut over here, and we have some pre-made lower thirds, again, got from Invatu on how to make these. There was a package, and the only issue I have with this is I made one for every single minister that we have, which is good, but if we had any guests, that's the problem. There's no way for me to really make new comments like this on the fly. So it's good, but then if you have guests, that's the only problem. So that's what makes the post-production even longer. So what I'm gonna do is go over here to our ministers, and that's his first Sunday, so that was the senior choir. So I might even add the choirs in there as well too. So here is our pre-made lower third. So then if I cut over here so you can see it, you can't see, but it's actually a black bar behind it, so it makes it really stand out. I did that so that no matter what the background is, you have white text. It's kind of hard to see white text on a white background. So that's why we got a little black fade in behind. And I actually even do that on my other videos here. I always have a black bar and then put white text. It's the contrast just makes it sticks out, and it makes it really easy to see. And just like that, I have ones for choirs as well. So if I play the senior choir one, it does the same thing. So how are we gonna add these? This makes it even easier because you just gotta drag them where you need them to go. So what I need to see is make sure wherever I put them, there is no scripture or anything in there to block it up. So it looks like they didn't put up any scripture when he was preaching. So, all right, we'll talk about that. So I get the lower third, and this is how I calculate this stuff out. What I do is look at the entirety of the entire section of where he's preaching, of the sermon or the message. I like to put one right at the beginning within the first 30 to 90 seconds, so when people chime in, they know actually who it is. So I'm gonna drag one right there, and I put one close to the end so people will know who it is, and then I'll put another one in the middle, so about right there. So what I need to do now is zoom in. Oops, and the whole time I didn't have the screen on, sorry. I look at the entirety of the entire video. So I'll put a lower third at the beginning, close to the end, and relatively close to the middle. All right, now what I need to do now is zoom in and actually make sure, and actually let me do this, because that way I don't have to keep jumping back and forth. So now we have it all on the same screen. So what I do is I want to play this, but I kind of already confirmed, but I wanted to play to make sure that the placement is good. Now, because of the camera angle, it's a lot of space here, so actually it would be good to move my lower third right here. But let's play it so you can see where it actually goes. See, and that's fine, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this. See, I can put it right there. I mean, you can move it all over the place. So maybe right here. Let's see how that looks. See, and it's good because it stands out. Now, I'm going to need to move this because I want this, the lower third, to end before that camera angle changes. So that's when it starts to fade. So I want this to be done by then. So if we play it again, I just moved it up a little bit. Right, see, so that's a good transition. So let's go look at the other one. Right here around the middle. so that's good. And then we check one more time for where the placement is on this one. Now, see, he didn't move, so this is a perfect example. So, believe it or not, that's it. So, for the sermon part. So, I'm going to highlight all of this stuff, which makes it easy because I'm highlighting everything in the range of the orange. Control C to copy. And I'm going to go here to my other timeline because I make the full, then I make the online. So that way I don't have to do the work twice. I'm going to pull over my intro outro again. Move it up to tracks 1 and 2 because we do everything in layers. Drag this for 1 second. Drag that for 1 second. Press the M key or press this button here to make a marker. So that way I know where I want this stuff to go. Then I paste. And it should paste everything where I just had it. Let's drag this in for 1 second. So now let's just make sure the transition goes fine. So actually, I might even chop this up just a little bit. So I just took that amount of time off. Alright, so that the entire sermon is done. Now I just need to go back, and technically I would really be done with the entire service, but I said I was going to use the lower thirds, the choir lower thirds on here. So, and I'm going to say this, hopefully she's watching this, because that's who's singing this song. Debbie! Alright. So I want to get, that's probably a good place to do that one as well, because you want it to be unobstructed. So let's come in here. Let's zoom in and let's find. See now, actually this isn't a good shot because it makes it hard to see that. Because the choir lower thirds, I didn't put a black background, but this reminds me why I should have done one. See right here, this is the camera angles all over the place, so that's why I wouldn't want to do it right there. So I'm going to start right there. Debbie! And actually, let me go back. This might be good if I change the placement just like we did with Pastor Sales. So let's come in here and let's see what's the ideal place where we can put that. Yeah, I can put it right there and that'll be good. Now, there are other lower thirds that are built into DaVinci Resolve, but like I said, I could have used those. But since I use a lower third somewhere else, I like to keep my stuff consistent. All right, so this is everything for the service. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and set this up to render. So first, I'm going to do the online first because that's a smaller file and that will go faster. I pick for Vimeo. Actually, they're both the same. It doesn't really matter. YouTube 1080p, that's where we record at, and that's what we upload at. I'm going to put that on my E drive, and I'm actually going to drop this number by half, because the quality is already going to be good enough. That's fine. I mean, I can leave it at 10,000, but 5,000 is fine. Kilobits per second. Alright, and then I'm going to do full. Do that again, change this number as well. Now everything is set up. I hit Control S. Now I'm just going to let this render, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this up again because I have some other stuff that we're going to be talking about. Pretty much I'm in a lot of things have been moving in church to actually move towards doing video announcements. So let me actually start the render, and I'm going to go full screen so we can talk about, sorry, I did that wrong. I didn't highlight all of them so that it does both. Yes, replace. Alright, so let me cut over to a full screen here. Alright, there we go. So pretty much what we're doing is a lot of churches are moving towards video announcements. They look really professional, and they actually get rid of a lot of dead time, unproductive worship time from service. Thankfully, I've actually just recently had to go ahead to start producing that. So what I want to do is in a later video later today, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 o'clock, something like that, I'm going to do another live stream of just talking through that, how to get started with that, because again, I'm going to show you the resources that I've been using, because again, we haven't done this. This is the first time my church is moving towards doing full-on video announcements. This is something that I've been doing as a pet project here and there as a proof of concept, but this is going to be the full shebang that we're actually going to be doing. I'm going to use this green screen that's behind me that I always use to actually do some new and exciting stuff. And the whole thing is, we talked about it before, it's nothing the matter with remembering the old landmarks, remembering the standards and the traditions and the doctrine that we believe in, but it's nothing the matter with using new tools. I know somebody said, remember, don't forget the old landmarks. Okay, it's nothing the matter with that, but it's nothing the matter with having a GPS pointing at that. The principle and the purpose is still the same. It's just the method on how you get there is different. The word doesn't change, the delivery method changes. So right now, Jesus didn't have the opportunity of live streaming. We do, and that's what this is all about. So that's what I want to try and educate from a church standpoint, and I'm going to walk you through at least journal. Couldn't say the word I was going to do, but at least journal what we're doing in the process of how to not live stream, but make video announcements, to just do some more enhancements. Why do a video announcements in the first place? Because first off, you can cut out all the fluff that's not needed. You want to be short and sweet and to the point, give everybody the information that you want, and then after the fact, it's recorded, so now you can easily share that information on all forms of social media, and it's always there. You can have one announcement for Vacation Bible School, and then you produce it well, and then you just keep playing it. You don't have to keep bringing up people over and over again, do that. And then most traditional churches, they'll start with your praise and worship, and then everything stops just to make an announcement. Then you pick right back up. So the whole premise of what we're doing is we're locking it in at 3 minutes. Our announcements are going to be 3 minutes no matter what, and once the announcements are over, the church service starts. Announcements are played again during offering, which again, most of the time, no one's really doing anything except for that. So we're going to go into that, and that's kind of what we're going to go into. So that's why I'm going to be coming back in with another video to show y'all how we're actually going to be doing that. So, make sure y'all stand by and look out for that. And I will make sure I will set up a stream event, so that way you'll notice of it, and hopefully I'm gonna have a guest with me while I'm doing that. So again, this is AJ. Thank y'all for stopping by, and just make sure you keep pushing. It only takes one person to change the direction in your media ministry so that you can reach more, and that's what we're here to do. Make sure you like this video, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, share it with as many people as possible, and also make sure you click that bell notification. That way you get notified when we have new videos like this, new live streams, new tips, tools, and strategies for your media ministry. This is AJ, and we'll catch you next time. Later.